Hey, what's going on, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we had a break from playoff basketball yesterday. Now let's get back to business. The Dallas Mavericks do play the Phoenix Suns in Game 3 in Dallas tonight. And I just listened to my entire video that I made in reaction to that video, that game. And I'm disappointed in myself because I didn't mention how poorly Luka's defense was. Um, Simple as that. I had to wait till the media put it out there, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, they were targeting him. You're right. So I'll admit I'm still learning basketball. I didn't watch that game as closely as I should have, and him being picked on and targeted should have been something I said. So it happened. Bottom line is he was targeted quite a bit, and it's something that the Dallas Mavericks don't. I don't think they have a way to adjust out of that. I think it's also been mentioned that Dwight Powell's minutes have been a negative 28 for the team, and when he sits down, they're a +1. I think there's something to that. I think that needs to be adjusted out of as well. So those are two things that I just read up on, remembered that I should have spoken on. Now, the stuff that I did speak on still stands. The Phoenix Suns blitzed the Dallas Mavericks in the fourth quarter of that game, Tyler Hero style. Same way we saw the Heat do to, who was that, Philly? They did that too. The Dallas Mavericks in this previous game. It looked like it was close. The Luka Magic was in full force. He was doing all the things that he does on the offensive side of the ball. But just fourth quarter came around and Chris Paul started doing that Chris Paul thing, and then they brought in Devin Booker, and Devin Booker just tore their hearts out. Shot the ball from behind the arc, so sweet, from the same exact spot 3 consecutive times, to run the score completely up and out of control. So that's what I'm more so focused on, and I was talking about other stuff that didn't have anything to do with the game itself. But they were targeting this man, like they really were. They were putting him in the pick and roll, making him the role defender, and as a result, he was just getting taken advantage of multiple times over by Chris Paul and whoever else they would put on him in that situation. So as that's been, illustrated, and now that I see it clearly, I can incorporate that into my understanding. And when I say they really, really, really need to find a way to hide Luka, like Steph Curry style, they need to do that. They need to do that now. The thing about Jason Kidd is Jason Kidd was always a fantastic defensive point guard. He made his money on both ends of the floor, sort of like John Stockton. So Luka Doncic, he's more so of an offensive guy. He's not somebody that you want hounding everybody. He's not in that type of shape either, which is something that I think he should try to dedicate himself to over the next several years. But all in all, for tonight's matchup, I would just try to keep your best defensive players on the floor to help him in those situations. Dorian Finney-Smith is a name that just keeps coming to mind. Reggie Bullock as well. Those are the two names that really need to be on the floor with Luka in those situations. And look, this is going to sound silly to some, but I am very serious when I say this. Play Boban. Play Boban. Boban is huge. Boban is someone who gets easy buckets. And even though he's going to be a floor nightmare when you're talking about guarding to guard the perimeter, it's a nightmare. At the end of the day, there is moments in this series where you could use his length, particularly in the paint. When JaVale comes in, although JaVale is fast, so let me preface that by saying that could be a problem too. But you need his length. At the end of the day, Dwight Powell is undersized. And Dwight Powell's skill set renders him someone that doesn't help you as much on the offensive side unless he's getting offensive glass. That's it. Other than that, he's not dribbling, he's not shooting. He's like Tristan Thompson, he's like DeAndre Jordan in that way, where his skill set just ain't really meant for today at all. But he helps you defensively in theory in most nights, but that's just not translating in the series at all, and it's just kind of, a problem for their team. Now, I think one of the reasons why they're a +1 is because when he sits down, they're bringing shooters on the floor, which is a very good thing. Because now you get to space the floor, gives Luka more space himself to maneuver and get the ball to those shooters if he trusts them. And that's been the thing. Much has been said about him not trusting his teammates, so he needs to do that more so. But they also need to be more ultra aggressive, when he's not on the floor. And I think it's on Jason Kidd to scheme up more plays for others. Same thing I say about the Atlanta Hawks, the way they handle Trae Young. They're too Trae Young centric. Dallas is too Luka centric, obviously. But I don't see it the same way because Luka's a big body. So, Trae's smaller and it makes it a little more, it's a little different in my head. But all in all, him being a defensive liability is going to be a thing going forward for the rest of his career, which is, something that I think is, it could get in the way, for him in terms of his career. Yeah, is he an amazing, amazing player? Yes. But this is a defensive era we're stepping into. And so I know that's a conversation for another day. I want to stay on topic. Anyway, so the Suns, they're doing everything right. They're scoring on the inside. They are putting themselves in a position to now shoot a better percentage from the outside, which is we've said a lot about since they had such a poor three-point shooting series against the Pels. With them shooting like this now, they're nearly unstoppable. That's kind of what I was alluding to in the previous video as well. You don't really get a chance to find the weakness because there aren't any. They go 3 deep with their centers. All 3 of those centers play excellent defense. All 3 of those centers are in excellent shape. They have wings, defensive guys that shoot the 3 that are excellent. Miles Bridges, one of the best in the game at that. Cam Johnson, up and coming, fantastic at that. Jay Crowder comes in, savvy veteran, hits the 3 ball, good with momentum, good defensively, draws fouls like crazy. Like, they have weapons everywhere. Devin Booker, he comes in, he's a killer, certified youngster, ready to go, in his prime, could go to toe-to-toe with anybody in the league today. You got Chris Paul, wizard of the basketball, one of the greatest point guards I've ever seen. Obviously somebody who's aging gracefully as well as any superstar we've seen. You see, look over there, you look at Ayton. Ayton's one of the most efficient offensive scorers in the game. He's also turned into a very good defensive center. He's also one of the best rebounding centers in the game. And he doesn't get tired. The best conditioned center in the game, in my opinion. It's like, where do they let up, man? They don't let up. You got Cam Johnson, a high-level point guard coming off the bench. You know what I mean? You got Aaron Holiday, a very high-level role player in this league who has some upside as well. It's like they just keep going. I looked at, and I said in the previous video, this guy named Rainwright, of whom I'm not familiar with, stepped into a corner 3, looked as confident as any shooter I've ever seen shoot the ball. The Suns run deep, and the Dallas Mavericks do not. It's that simple. The Dallas Mavericks have a nice, solid team, but they're really, really relying upon their 3-point shooters to be consistent. The Dallas Mavericks are a much better team when they got Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, and Reggie Bullock lighting everything up from behind the arc. They can't seem to get all 3 of those guys on the same page at the same time. So you get 2 out of 3 of them. Maybe one of them playing well, the other 2 are not, that kind of thing. That's important. And also, the problem with the Dallas Mavericks is their best players are ball handlers. And Luka Doncic is a ball handler. So, as you can see, when Luka Doncic sat down, they were killing the Utah Jazz. Why? Because it put Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie in their rightful positions as players who can hold the ball and get their own shot and look for their own thing and look for others. They can't do that with Luka Doncic constantly holding the ball, particularly moving at a slow pace. As we know, Luka Doncic wants to bring the ball up to a slow creep, slow the pace down. That's not necessarily what's best for Jalen Brunson. That's not necessarily what's best for Spencer Dinwiddie. That's not necessarily what's best for really anybody on their roster, except for him. It's just the style of play that he's best at. So that's going to be another thing the Dallas Mavericks should probably look to reimagine, is finding players that play better slow, since that's what they want to do. So this is a lot of holes in their roster. I look at that Tim Hardaway contract. It always comes back to me at how much I could do with his cap value as he sits there hurt. Another wing 3-point shooter that would not help them win this series. If he were healthy, they still would be losing. So that's where they go wrong. They hold on to players like Dwight Powell and Tim Hardaway, and they don't have enough when they come up against Phoenix. So that's just what it is. I expect them to put up a valiant effort tonight in the Game 3. With that all being said, they're a proud bunch. They were well coached. They have some extreme strengths. And throughout the season, they've done some good things for themselves on both ends of the floor to make you feel like they can tap into that once again. So I did pick them to lose this series in 5, which means they're going to get a game. I do not know which one of these games I want to give them. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. They're going to get one of these games at home. So I'll just say they'll get this one tonight. Let's just give it to them, and just say that they come out and get to a quicker start, because that's a thing. You know, the Phoenix Suns have gotten out to a 9-0 run to start both of these games at home. I don't know that they'll get off to just as quick a start on the road, but we'll see. All in all, man, Phoenix is gonna have to figure out a way to hide Luka and a way to defend Ayton. And if they don't figure out both of those things tonight, this series is gonna probably be over. Simple as that. And you know, Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, they got to play better, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Those two have not shown up for this series. Have they been shut down by Phoenix? Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not necessarily on point when it comes to that right now, clearly. But what it really comes down to is just those two. They need to find ways of featuring them offensively. Let Jalen have the ball a little more. Let Spencer Dinwiddie have a second unit to himself without Luka Doncic, so that he can have the ball and do it and cook a little bit. Because if he's not engaged, you got a whole portion of your team that he represents. Because he's supposed to be a 20-point scorer, someone get 20.8 assists. He can't do that with Luka holding the ball slow and doing all that he does. You just don't get the most out of the best players that you have. So they're constructed wrong. And the more I think about it, the more I think they should really retool. I really think they should retool. Reimagine that team. I ain't gonna say blow it up, of course not, but keep Luka and reimagine that squad around him, because it's not good enough. It does have a lot of dead weight, and at this stage in his career, he should be able to compete with a Phoenix Suns team. To be honest with you, as good as he is, he shouldn't be favored to lose in 5. No, his team ain't built right. So that's what it is, man. I'll give the Dallas Mavericks this game. We'll see how it goes. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.